Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to cover Venus in Taurus. Venus is entering Taurus at 0442 UTC on the 6th of June. At the moment I'm recording this video at 22:26 UTC, which makes it 5 hours from now. Venus is entering Taurus, and I would like to illuminate you how Venus has behaved on the Bitcoin charts historically, so that you know what to expect. So to make a forecast about Bitcoin, we need to include all of the cycles. So that is why at the moment I'm not making a forecast about Bitcoin. I'm only showing you what we can expect from Venus in Taurus, and the main reason for this is because I'm seeing so much uninformed opinion spread around by so-called financial astrologers, uh, claiming that Venus in Taurus is a very positive event because Taurus is the home of Venus, and it's nothing like that on the Bitcoin chart. And that is the reason why I spend 16 hours a day back testing, because if it was so easy just to learn standard astrology and then to infer all of those meanings onto the Bitcoin chart theoretically, just from theoretical knowledge, that would have been way too easy, and I wouldn't be killing myself doing all the back testing of every single cycle that is happening. And you may know that at any current moment there are at least 30 cycles running, and I back test most of them. So there is a reason why I do that. And the main reason is that the astrological theory, does not work logically on the Bitcoin chart. So let me just show you now the backtesting results from Venus in Taurus. So how many times Venus in Taurus has closed on a green? So if all of those pseudo astrologers are correct that Venus is in Taurus is a very positive event in Bitcoin's life, don't you think that the majority of green closures of this event, when Venus enters Gemini, the price should always be higher, right? If that was a positive event. Well, guess what? This is the backtesting result, that when Venus enters Gemini, the price is lower than when Venus enters Taurus. 57% of the time the price is lower. So certainly this does not give us the assurance that Venus in Taurus is a positive event for Bitcoin. Right. So let's crack on here with the daily closures. The daily closures are slightly better. So the ingresses, when Venus enters Taurus, we get 57% green closures historically. So this is our forecast for 6th of June, 57% probability that the day will close on a green. First week is one of the worst weeks of Venus in Taurus, exactly to show you that it's not a positive event in Bitcoin's life, because if it was, then at least the first week would be a green week. If Venus is entering in her own home, then the first week would be a good green week, closing on a green, wouldn't it? But it's far from that. 57% of the time, the first week is actually closing on a red. And the first week is also very unstable and turbulent. Look at that, pump and dump, how many times? So overall there are 14 previous events that we have back tested. So out of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. More than 50% of the previous events. The first week of Venus in Taurus is an unstable week with pump and dump or dump and pump. And also, how many bottoms have been made in that first week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottoms in the first week of Venus in Taurus out of 14, almost 50%, and that is quite a lot. I mean local bottoms, bottoms for the duration of Venus in Taurus. Pivot lows for the duration of Venus in Taurus have been made in the first week. Moving on to the second week. The second week is slightly better, and look how much better it is. That instead of being 57% closing on a red, this time it's 50%. So that is a relief. Nothing like closing on a green. There is no dominance there of the green, but we're getting 50% instead of the red closures. And how many bottoms have been made in week 2? 1, 2, 3 bottoms have been made in week 2. Slightly, a lot less than week 1. So week 1 stands out as much worse than week 2 of Venus in Taurus. And then let's have a look at week 3. Week 3, 57% closed on red. And how many bottoms have been made in that week? 1, 2. 2 bottoms and 1 pump. So again, slightly better, the same kind of level as week 2, but actually worse than week 2, but better than week 1, because the largest conglomeration of bottoms during Venus in Taurus has happened during week 1. And then some of those events have lasted 4 weeks, and where you see a blank here, that means that Venus in Taurus was quicker. It didn't last 4 weeks. And again, that week number 4 closed on a green and on a red 50% of the time. Okay, so that is Venus in Taurus for you. And this is why I'm recording this video, so you can get a very realistic picture that at the best of time we're actually aiming for consolidation because it can be much worse. It can be actually dumping. The probability is not very high for dumping, but still the first week is looking quite turbulent. And what else can we check? So let's check those years when Venus in Taurus has been a straight up. Okay, straight up. So week 1 green, week 2 green, boom, week 3 is not green. Try again. Week 1 red, week 1 red, week 1 red, but then in those years 2020 and 2021 the other 2 weeks were green. Again, there is no straight up in Bitcoin's life. Every single occasion, even when Bitcoin has closed on a green, at least one of the weeks has been a red. Moving on here. So 2020 is looking good. 2 weeks after that closed on a green after the bottom. 2021 is looking good again. 2 weeks closed on a green. 2018, even a bearish year looks good. Venus in Taurus looks good because 2 weeks closed on a green after the initial dump. And I'm going to show you now some of the key events that have happened during Venus in Taurus. So even in bullish years, Venus in Taurus is not bullish. Even in bull years, like 2024, Venus in Taurus dumped. Venus in Taurus, 1 second. Oh, I'm still looking at 2025, just 1 second. Ah, yes. Okay. Oh, no, Venus in Taurus was bullish in 2024. I beg your pardon. But it dumped on day number 1 and then it went up. So good. Venus in Taurus didn't dump in 2024. That is a massive achievement because in some bull years it actually dumped. So that was 2024. Good point for Venus in Taurus. 2023, again, Venus in Taurus didn't dump. Really good here. 2023 didn't dump, and then moving on to 2022. We shouldn't really count 2022 because that was a bear year. We're not in that cycle, so I'm gonna ignore that. But look at that. 2021, we're on this cycle now. As 2021, Venus in Taurus was a top, and from there on, heavy dumping. I don't expect that this year, by the way. As I said, I'm not making a Bitcoin forecast just by using one cycle, but I'm just showing that even in bull years, Venus in Taurus is not guaranteed that it will go up. So far, you're counting with me now. We have 2 bull years. Venus in Taurus was bullish. It closed on a green. And then this is the 3rd occasion closed on a red. And then we go to 2020. And guess what? One of the most historical dumping that has ever happened in Bitcoin's life, the COVID dump, happened actually while Venus was in Taurus. Really comfortable placement for Venus, huh? What do you think? The biggest dump in the history of Bitcoin, happened while Venus was in Taurus. And then it went up, yes, for the next 2 weeks after that it went up. But it closed lower. So far, we have examined 4 bullish years, and it's 50-50. 2 closed on green, 2 closed on red. And moving on to 2019. 2019 closed on a red. (2018) I'm not going to look at because it's a guarantee that it will be closing on a red, and we're not on that cycle anyway. Look at 2017. This is very important now. 2017, because that was a bullish year and we're on the same cycle as then. This is Venus in Taurus here. And look, even in 2017, it didn't manage to close on a green. It brought a local top, and from there on, some heavy dumping. Okay. So far you can see that the majority we got now, this is now dumping number 6 in the bull years. No, sorry, dumping number 4 in the bull years. 2024 and 2023 it went up, and then for the rest of the years dumping. Even in 2017 it didn't manage to close on a green. Next, Venus in Taurus. Ah, yes, here it is, 2016. 2016 was a very famous bull year. What does Venus in Taurus do? Close on a red. Close on a red. Here is Venus in Taurus here. And here is the ending here, Venus in Gemini. Even in 2016, it didn't manage to close on a green. And the pseudo astrologers are telling us what a fantastic placement it will be for Venus when it goes in Taurus now. And they're giving us positive hopes for the days ahead. This is 2015. We shouldn't be looking at this because we're not on that cycle. So, I'm trying to be very fair and I'm examining only the bull years. Okay, 2014, again, we're not looking at that. And then 2013 is our bull year. So let's have a look. Here it is, Venus in Taurus. 2013, it managed to close on a green, fantastic. So it still didn't, it still couldn't resist a nice dump on the next day. Still couldn't resist that. How many were the daily closures? The green closures were only 57% green. That is called a comfortable placement of Venus, right? Only with 57% green daily closures of the ingress in Taurus. And then the dump in the first week is so typical for Venus in Taurus. Look at it. It couldn't resist. And from there on it went up. So this so far is only three bull years when Venus in Taurus has actually closed on green. Are you counting 2024, 2023 and 2013? The rest of them, it didn't manage to close on a green. Okay, and the last year I'm going to examine is 2012. Here it is, 2012. I need to stretch it to see. So this is Venus in Taurus and it closed on the same price. It struggled to close on a green, and here the dumping happened in the last in week number 3, which is written here on the backtesting results. Week number 3. Okay, I'm going to be publishing these backtesting results on X. So if you want to have them for yourself, you're welcome to join me on X, and then you're welcome to download this picture on your phone as long as you keep my logo. So is everyone now clear that it's nothing like what the pseudo-astrologers are saying, that Venus in Taurus is a very comfortable placement? Nothing like that. Very rarely, actually, Venus closes on a green in Taurus. That's all I can say. I'm not making a forecast for Bitcoin because I need to involve all cycles. I cannot just use one cycle to make a forecast for Bitcoin for the days ahead. Bye for now.